Hello, everybody. It is your girl, I Am Bree, and welcome to I Am Bree TV. Now, today we are going to get into a little story time of how my car got stolen. Not one, not two, but 3 different times. Okay? And yes, it was the same vehicle in all 3 different scenarios. So, let's get into it. So the first time this happened was in December of 2020. Now this was about 2 weeks before Christmas, and at this time I was pregnant with my second child. Now on this day, this was a day that
All right, you guys.
So
this is the final look.
I work overnight.
Thank you for tuning in.
So during the day,
listening
I'm
to my story time.
listening to my story
time.
kind of sleeping on and off or whatever.
The moral of my story is never take away from someone else
because
you never know what person's like interfering with.
Because you never know
what person's like acting with when you make selfish acts away from someone else. It causes a ripple effect.
It causes a ripple effect. So looking out my kitchen window
and choose more
my car
to make better choices.
The main street,
right? You
can't
do it for yourself.
So, and that's what I occasionally
do. You
can't do
it
for
yourself.
kind of just looked outside,
doing it for
others.
Treat others the way you
my
want
car
to treat
was,
it.
or just
follow
just
others the way
paying
you want to
attention
be
to my
treated.
surroundings outside my house.
Practice the golden
So that's what I was
Again,
doing.
It really does
the
make a
last
difference.
time I remember checking on my car was like,
I thank you all again.
say like
Much love.
4 in the evening around that time,
And I wish you peace.
So I lay down
Peace.
to take a nap or whatever, and I wake up around 10 that evening because I had to wake up, get ready for work, drop my oldest daughter off, and get my day started because I work overnight, so the nighttime is my daytime. So I go outside and I'm walking towards where I last remember parking my car, and it's not there. Okay, so I'm like, I'm thinking like maybe I'm tripping, because the pregnancy brain can really have you feeling like you're tripping. Okay, so I'm like, okay, my car is not parked where I had it. Maybe I parked it in the back, so let me look in the back lot and see if it's back there. Walk back there. My vehicle is not there either. So I'm like, okay, what is going on? Where is my car? So I'm thinking, previously I had a neighbor at the time. She was a Caucasian lady, elderly lady, and she did not like me. Now I'm not gonna get into all the little details about that because that's another story for another time, but she did not like me. Okay, and previously she did purposely, intentionally got my car towed for her own personal little reasons. And so I'm thinking like, okay, this lady got my car towed again. Okay, we're really gonna have some problems, because her and I had already had a conversation about it, and there should have been some type of understanding. But I'm thinking at that time, obviously not, because my car should be where I had it. So I call, there was a number that I had that basically you could check to see if your car got towed, or if it was on a city tow lot, or whatever. So call that number. They have no record of my vehicle. So at this time, it's getting closer for me to be heading to work, but I don't know where my vehicle is, so I can start making my way to get to work and drop my daughter off and all that stuff. So they don't have any record of my car being towed. I don't know where it is at this point. So I call my job and I let them know what's going on or whatever. And so my boyfriend, I reach out to him and I let him know, like, I don't know where my car is. Like, do you think you can get me to work? And he does. So I get to my job to relieve the person that's there and all that. So basically what ended up happening was I didn't end up working because my job ended up finding someone to cover for me so that I could just focus on trying to find out where the heck my vehicle was. So I did that. So with me so I went back home. My boyfriend takes me home, and so this was like, oh, I missed the part. So by the time I was even able to get to work, this was because I had to wait for him to get to me, right? So by the time that happened, this was like maybe 2-3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So with me not working my regular shift, I went back home, and this was well before 4 a.m. So I get a knock. I'm still up at this time because I'm usually up at night anyways. So I get a knock on my door, and this is like 4:30. I distinctly remember looking at my phone. It was like 4:35 in the morning. Okay. So I'm like, who the heck could be knocking on my door this early? So I look in my window to where, because I didn't have a peephole on my door. So I had a way to look out to see who could be at the door without them seeing me. So I did that, and then I see uniform. So I'm like, okay, this is a police officer. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, my car, I don't know where it is. This may be an emergency or something else is going on around, in my neighborhood or something. So let me just open the door. So I open the door, start talking to him. And he's like, are you Brianna? And he says my last name. And I'm like, yes. Do you own such and such car? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, so did you by any chance let anyone borrow your car this evening or early this morning? And I'm like, no, I did not. He's like, so when was the last time you remember when was the last time you had your vehicle? And I'm like, the last time I had my car was yesterday, because currently right now this is 4 o'clock in the morning the next day. So I'm like, the day before I had my car, last time I remember seeing it was like around 4 in the evening. But I work overnight, so any time between 4 that evening to 11, something potentially happened to my car. I don't know what, but so my car was nowhere to be found. Yeah, my car is nowhere from my knowledge. So the police officer then says to me, so we've recovered your car, me and my partner. I want to say maybe like 20 minutes ago. So my partner is still sitting behind your vehicle where we saw it parked, which was on like the Lower East Side, which is not the area I live in. Okay, that's a completely different direction. And then they said that they were in the area and they saw that the window was down. It looked like the window was down because this was at nighttime. So, well, it was dark outside. It wasn't nighttime. It was considered technically in the morning. So they said that it looked like the window was down. So they, I guess, drove around the car and then noticed that there was glass. So they got out, looked at it a little bit closer, saw there was glass on the seats. The window definitely was broken out. It wasn't just rolled down. They saw that my steering wheel column, the outer box was torn off. They could see all the inside, and there was like a small screwdriver sticking out of the side of the ignition, right? So that's what they used to get it started. There was also, I guess, some belongings inside my vehicle that they noticed. But it just basically, my car just looked very suspicious being in that area, and then with the one window rolled down. And the window that was rolled down, he said that it was on the driver passenger side, or not driver passenger side, the driver rear window. Okay, so I'm like, yeah, my car definitely shouldn't be in that area. I don't know anyone that lives in that area, so this is just all crazy to me because I've never had my car stolen before. And then with me being pregnant, I'm just, I'm getting upset, I'm getting emotional because I'm like, this never happened to me before. I don't even know, what I'm gonna do now because I only have one vehicle. So he's reassuring me, like, usually these types of things, you're very lucky. I'm really glad that we were able to get your car, and he letting me know that hey, if you have insurance, this whole process will be a lot easier for you. And I did let him know that I did have insurance, so that was a great thing. So he kind of told me, the steps that's involved with that, like contact them and asked me, did you want to wait for them to tow your car, or have them tow your car, your insurance company, or did you want us to tow it, or get it towed for you, and not just. At the time, I'm like, I couldn't really make a direct decision. Okay, like I'm flustered, I'm upset, I'm pregnant, it's late, and this has never happened to me. So I did call my boyfriend to kind of see what he thought. Of course, he didn't answer because he had went to sleep. So I just had the police officer tow the car, and then I would just deal with it later on, after I talked to my boyfriend, of course. So that happened. Spoke with my insurance company. They kind of went over the steps as far as how we were gonna take care of it. So I was able to get like a rental car to help me get to and from where I need to go. In the meantime, I had to take pictures of the damages and everything, and put that inside the claim report that you filed, if anything ever happens to your car. Anyone that's ever been in a car accident, or car's been vandalized, or car's been stolen, there's a claim report that you fill out. You can either start it by calling your insurance company, or you can fill out one with the app with the insurance company. You can get it started that way, and then they'll call you, to further speak with you and all that. So I had to deal with all of this. Now, mind you, at this time, I was, let's see, because I was due in February. So I was 7 months, close to 7 months pregnant at the time. Okay, so I was definitely showing, definitely doing the pregnancy walk, the waddle and all that and all that. So I had to go down to this tow lot, claim my car, show identification and all this stuff, right? So that they could let me see my car, view it, see if it could run, if I could move it myself, or let them keep it on their tow lot until, I had it picked up and taken to a shop, right, to get it fixed. So me not remembering, because pregnancy brain, okay, so it just basically had me so forgetful. So I remember as I'm there in line at this tow lot, trying to show them, prove to them this is my vehicle. You have my vehicle here. I need to see it. I need to see if it's gonna run, all that jazz. And I realized all of my identification is inside my vehicle. Yes, in my car that was stolen, that they have on their tow lot, right? Yeah. Smart, very smart move, Bree. So anyways, so I'm like telling them, like, look, I have identification, I have proof of insurance, I have all these things, but they are inside my vehicle. You know, can you let me see my vehicle? And they're like, no, we can't do it that way. We can they offered to have someone go to my vehicle and search for it and see if it's in there. So they did that. And then the person comes back and they're like, oh yeah, we didn't find anything in your car. So I'm like, what? So you mean to tell me I'm thinking whoever stole my car took everything out of my car. If they can't find it, because I'm like, it's right there, you know, in the armrest. It should be in the armrest. You open it up, it's right there. Insurance information, driver's license, it's there. They said they can't find it. The person goes back again to look. They come back with the same info. Can't find it. It's not in there. So at this point, I've been at this tow lot inside for like over an hour at this point, waiting for them to get back to me to tell me if they found it, or they're gonna let me view it. So then the person behind the windows is like, okay, you may have to just you know, order another form of ID online, send it to the email address that we have here, and then also your insurance information. Get that, and then send it to my email. So at this point, I'm pissed, because I'm like, all of this, like, I'm highly annoyed, pissed off to the max, right? So I'm like, okay, do that. And then I let the person know behind the window, like, okay, yeah, I've done it. You know, I've sent it over to you. So this lady takes another 40 minutes just to open up the email I sent her. Talk about getting pissed off. Talk about, I wanted to go through that damn window and choke her, because I felt like she was intentionally putting me off, because it's like, I work here. You're just going to have to wait for me, right? So I'm just getting pissed off. More and more pissed off. So she finally opens up the email and she lets me know, like, okay, I have your information. So then at that point, that's when they go ahead and let me view my car. So I had someone had to drive me back to my vehicle. They wouldn't let me walk the lot, right? So we get to my vehicle. I saw the damages and everything. And whoever stole my vehicle put plastic on the window with, I guess, no, they didn't put plastic on the window. The people at the tow lot did that, apparently. Or I forget which one. Either the people at the tow lot did it, or the person that stole my car. I want to say the person that stole my vehicle did that, because with the police kind of looking, when they found my car, they looked inside the vehicle and they saw the glass and stuff, realized like, oh, this car is stolen. So yeah, the thief did that. So I see this or whatever, go inside my car, you know, I'm looking for my stuff, seeing what's missing, what's not, and lo and behold, what do I find? My insurance information, my driver's license, right where I told them it was. So at this point, I have been at this tow lot for over 2 hours, going on 3. And the whole point of, I guess, it taking all that time was because they could not find my identification in my car, but it was right where I said it was. Let me tell you, I was not pissed at that point. I was livid, because how dare you tell me you can't find something, and I tell you exactly where it is and everything, and then you go supposedly 3 times to go find it, and you can't find it. But I go to my car, go exactly where I know I left it, in the exact same place I told you where I left it, and you can't find it, but I see it. How does that work? So anyways, I get all my belongings out that I wanted to keep, And then after that, my car was taken from that tow lot and it was taken over to a shop of my choice, which I chose the dealership where I purchased my car from. So, because they had an auto body, department, and they were going to take care of my car from then on. And I did also let them know, like, okay, yeah, hey, I'm pregnant, so I'm not sure when my car will be finished, but if it's going to be over 2 months from now, around this time, I'm going to be giving birth. So, yeah, I'm going to need my car back. Not to rush you or anything, but yeah, that's happening. that's definitely happening. So, also at this time, I was getting ready to move. Okay, so I not only had to deal with my car getting broken into, getting stolen, not having transportation at this point because my car is towed and I don't have it, and it has to get fixed. 2, I have to pack my whole house and prepare to move to another place, because that was set up before my car even got stolen. That was something that was happening anyways. So I had to finish that up. In about 2 months, I'm having a baby. Yeah, it was real hectic at that time. It was a lot going on. Okay, so that's going on. So I'm trying to pack, and I also have to go to work, and I also have to tend to my daughter, and just having my moments where it's just like, oh my God, I'm just so worn out. Why is this going on right now? Yeah, so going through that, and then my car's still not getting finished. Like, it's been a month now, car's still not done. Come February, car's still not done. So I ended up going into labor February 12th, right? February 12th around 5 p.m. in the evening. So at this point, my car, it's still not done. So that's the first thing from mama right now. I'm trying to deal with these damn contractions. So, I had my daughter February, that evening, right? Going to labor. And, so I want to say the next day, I get a phone call. And guess who the phone call is from? The dealership that has my car. And they're like, hey, we're just giving you a call to let you know your car's ready. You can come pick it up. What? And I already had explained to them, like, yeah, I'm getting closer to giving birth, so I'm just letting you guys know. If it does, if my car is ready, I'm not going to be able to pick it up right away. So I kindly repeat that, and they're like, oh, well, congratulations, and so happy for you. And I'm like, I'm definitely not gonna be able to pick my car up right now. I'm still in the hospital, because this was like not even 24 hours later. So my car at this point, thank God, it's ready, right? But at this point, because I've moved and I've had to, cover other expenses in the midst of me trying to wait, I had the money, because you have to pay a deductible, right? When your car, anytime you have to, like, deal with a claim or something like that, you have to pay your deductible. I think I'm saying that right. So I had the money to cover my deductible so that I can get my car. And at this time, I no longer had it because I had to cover other expenses. And I'm on maternity leave. And I was on an unpaid maternity leave. So I was on like a set, I don't want to say a set income, but a set amount of money that I had at the time until I went back to work. So that money, I'm like, well, I don't know, my car's going to be fixed, so I'm going to use this for my expenses right now. So I used it, And then my car is ready after I no longer have the money, right? So I'm just like, oh man, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get that money to have the deductible. And my deductible wasn't just like $500 or $700, right? My deductible was $2,000. Yeah, you heard me. $2,000. Okay, plus lot fees per day that start accruing each day that my car was on the lot at the dealership, because it's occupying space at this time, right? Because it's done. Yeah. And the fees were about $40 per day. So at this time, my car had already been there a couple of weeks after it was finished. So the fees are just piling up, right? Piling up. So I'm like, okay. So at this point, I moved or whatever. And I still can't get my car back because I don't have that money to cover it. So, long story short, they ended up working with me and I was able to get my car back. And, I gave them like a down payment and then I paid the rest off in a couple of months. But I got my car back because they were willing to work with me and they understood what was going on. So I was grateful for that. So let's get into the second time my car was stolen. Same car, different scenario, but same car. Okay. So the second time, my car was found. When it was found, there was well, actually, no, let's get into before it was found. So once again, I'm getting ready to go to work, and this was outside of my regular work schedule, so it was overtime for me. So I picked up overtime. I'm heading outside to get to my car, and my car is, and this was in the summertime, so July of 2021. This was after the 4th of July. So I want to say about maybe 2 weeks after the 4th of July. So around that time, that's when it happened. So prior to this happening, I was out and I was, doing some car searching. I was out at dealerships. I'm looking at cars that I'm interested in or I may want to be in or do a trade in or something like that, because I wanted to get out of my vehicle. I'm like, I want to refrain from this situation happening again. Now, I had gotten my car back in April. Okay, so this wasn't that long after I had gotten my car back. But I had already had it in my mind that I'm like, okay, I'm going to make sure I get out of this car before something else, if something else happens. Just basically before anything happened, because I just didn't feel comfortable being in my car. Like, I was grateful to have it back, but it's like, if my car someone could just steal it like that, what's stopping it from doing it again, So I just decided like I wanted something new. So I had just come back from going to a dealership, and it didn't work out. They didn't have like a good selection that I was interested in. So that didn't work out. So I get home, it's like around, I want to say like 6 in the evening. So I had to go to work, because I picked up overtime. So in the midst of me, heading out to get to my shift, my car is not, once again, it's not where I left it. And I'm like, there's only one lot. At the time, there was only one parking lot, and I know I parked my car on this specific row. My car was not there. But there was glass. There were shards of glass in the lot. So I knew that someone had stolen my car again. I just knew it. So I didn't even get mad right away. I just called my boyfriend up and I'm like, yes, somebody stole my car. And he's like, what do you mean somebody's? You know what? I'm on my way. That's exactly what he said. Because it's like, my gut feeling was telling me this happened again. You know, and it's so crazy that it happened that very day that I was, you know, almost about to get rid of the car, but then it didn't work out. And then a few hours later, that happened. Crazy. So he ended up, you know, heading to me, and then he took me to work. So I get to work, and then I get a phone call from an unknown number. And I answer it, and it's like, hi, am I speaking to Brianna? And he said my last name, and I'm like, yes, this is me. And he's like, hi, this is Officer so and so. I forget the officer's name. And I'm like, okay, what is this pertaining to? And then he's like, I believe we recovered your vehicle. Now, in my mind, I'm like, see, I knew someone stole my car again. I just knew it. So I'm like, okay, and where was it recovered? Or where are you now? And he's like, we're on the Lower East Side. Again, not the same exact area, but familiar territory. Okay, so Lower East Side of the city that I live in. So I'm like, this is some mess. Okay, so he's like, so this is what happened. So we were, doing our regular patrols, and we came across a white car, and we saw about 4 to 5 males in the car. Now my car is not a big, it's not a roomy car. I'll say that. It's not a roomy car. It's like a sports edition car, but it's a 4-door car. So for 5 males to be in my car, you're automatically gonna look suspicious, okay? Because it's not a car for all grown people. All grown people size. It's not gonna look right, because it's not like it's like a Buick or like a Lincoln. Those are like roomier cars, wide body cars. It's not that kind of car. It's a smaller type of car. So you wouldn't expect there to be that many people sitting in that car. So, but there was. He's saying that the car was coming towards them, and they were driving past it. But it just looked kind of off to them. So they said they circle back and they start following the car. This car, the person that was driving my car takes off, right? They just take off, and it's like a high pursuit. So the police tells me that we then turn our sirens on, and then we're tailing this car. We're on this car, and then they get to like this back alleyway, and they're following them, and they come out of the alley. My car's still running. They jump out the car while it's still running, and the car crashes somehow because it's still running. No one's in it at this point, and they take off running on foot. So because there were multiple culprits running away from my car, they didn't catch them. From what they're saying, it was just 2 police officers. They didn't catch the culprits, none of them. And they just got into my car to, I guess, try to stop it from running so it didn't get damaged any further. So I'm like, okay, well, I am currently at work, so I'm not sure, how I'm gonna handle this right now. And then he asked me, well, do you have anyone that could come and maybe get the car started, or did you want to have it towed possibly? And in my mind, I'm like, I don't really want to go through that whole getting it towed process again. I did want to see if it ran. So maybe I could move it, figure something out. So I'm talking to my boyfriend, and I let him know they found my car. And he's like, so you need to identify your car? I'm like, yeah, I need to not identify it, but just go and see if it's even gonna run. Like, does it need to be towed? If it does need to be towed, then I could just move it. Because they were saying that the car, was still running and they turned it off, but the way they opened up the steering wheel column, like, you could stick something into the ignition and get it started. So, and that's how the car was stolen. So basically, what was happening at that moment was I needed to get to my car to see if I could drive it or if it had to be towed. So because I was at work, my boyfriend, he volunteered to go and do that for me. He had me on FaceTime so that I could verify I was who I was, and I could let them know, like, yeah, I'm giving him permission to drive my car, see if it's drivable, that type of thing. So all that happened, everything was squared away. He was able to drive my car. So it was driven away from that area, and then everything else was taken care of. So when I got off work, went to the police station to, like, get the incident report number so that I could, finish my claim with my insurance company, because once again I had to do a claim. And so had to deal with that. Once again, I was fortunately able to get another rental car. Went through that whole process again. Had the rental car for a month. And then, so this time around, my car didn't take as long for me to get it back because my deductible wasn't set as high. And also my car got finished faster than before. So this was the second time. So got my car back the second time. I ended up the second time I did have a steering wheel lock on it. So some people call it like a club that you put on the steering wheel. So I had one of those on my steering wheel, to lock it to prevent theft, right? Because it's anti-theft. And it was the one that had the prongs on both ends. So it had the hooks on both ends, not just one. Man, that thing didn't work because they popped that off. The person that stole my car popped that off and still got to my car. So yeah, that didn't work for me. So after this second time, I decided to try to get a steering wheel lock that was for the steering wheel and the brake lock, or the brake pedal. So it hooked to the brake pedal and the steering wheel. So I got that, and everything was fine, for a little while. And then second time my car was stolen, July 2021, right? And then the next time my car was stolen was 2022, February. Well, no, March, not February. So this month, right? So the crazy thing about this was that this was a morning where I was, and this recently happened, okay? This was about a week ago. A little over a week ago. Third to 10th. So this is the morning, I got off work, took my eldest daughter to school. I have my youngest daughter in the car with me. She's with me too. So my daughter's at school. I had making my way to like run some errands. I head to Walmart because I was going to my really good friend's her son's birthday party. So I needed to get a couple things. Went to Walmart real quick. So I'm exhausted. I'm tired. You know, I'm aware of, you know, me being awake and everything, but I'm just so exhausted. You know how you're just exhausted and you feel like you had like tunnel vision or whatever? That's how I felt. So at no point did I remember or recall anyone like following me or being suspicious or acting weird, right? So I get into Walmart's parking lot. I park over on the side of the building, so that I could, once I left, I could just go out the side exit, and then make a U-turn and then head home, because I wasn't too far from where I'm living. So I go in Walmart, you know, I get everything I need, and I come back out. So I was in there for about an hour. So I come back out, and I'm about to put my daughter in the back seat, and I see all this glass on the back seat. So I'm like, what? Real? I'm like, not again with this. I'm automatically thinking somebody, you know, just bust my windows out. That's what I'm thinking at first, because I see all this glass, right? So I look in there, and I see blood all in the car. I'm like, what? And then I look at the driver's side, and I look at the steering wheel column that's broken off. It's tore up. And the other 2 times when my car was vandalized and broken into and stolen, the steering wheel column didn't look that messed up. It just looked like you could just see all the inside parts, right? All the wires and stuff. This time it was like whoever was trying to steal my car ripped out wires and all the parts that you would need to start the car up with. Everything was everywhere. It was a mess. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, again with this shit? Like, really? So I get in my car, and I'm like, let me see if I could start it. You know, like, I put my daughter in the car, and there's glass all on the seat. So I just put her in her car seat. There's no glass in her car seat. So I try to start my car. The entire ignition part where you stick the key into is gone. It was not there. So I couldn't start the car up. And I don't know how to hot wire. You know, so I'm just like, what the really? Like, I'm just amazed at the stupidity it took, the amount of stupidity that it took for them to damage my car so bad to where they couldn't successfully steal it. I was amazed. I was fucking amazed, because who does that? You know, I'm not saying that I wanted them to steal my car. I'm not saying that. But if you're going to do something to that magnitude, then at least know what you're doing so that you can get the outcome you want, because the outcome was to break into the car and steal it, right? So you break into the car, leave DNA, leave blood, get in the car, you know, vandalize it so that you can steal it, and then you can't even steal it because you messed it up so bad. How stupid do you look? So I'm sitting there in my car that won't start. I can't get to start. So once again, I contact my boyfriend, and I didn't tell him what happened on the phone. I just asked him, like, can he come and pick the baby up? That's all I said. So he gets there. He finally gets there. It's about 15-20 minutes later, and he pulls up, and he looking at my car, and he's like, what the fuck happened? Did this happen when you were in the car? And I'm like, no, this happened when I was inside. And he's like, wow. He's seeing all the blood and stuff. He's seeing the glass in the car. He's just getting mad. He's getting pissed off. So Me and my daughter, we both get into his car because it's cold it's cold. It's wintertime, right? It's still winter weather. So I contact the police. I start another claim with my insurance company, of course, per usual. And so then I'm waiting there for the police to get there so that I can get a police report so that they can see the evidence and get their observation and get that process started. So that happens, and one of the police officers, the first police officer that showed up, told me that he was going to review the camera footage. So he did that. He comes back to tell me, so when I came, there was a silver Kia. It looked like it came in the exact same time right behind me when I pulled into the lot and parked near me, not right next to me, but near me. And I'm like, yeah, I remember this guy staring at me, but I didn't think nothing of it because, people kind of just look at other people all the time, right? So I didn't think it was nothing more than what it was, him just probably just kind of staring or whatever. So I remember looking at him, but nothing about him was like rememberable. And I'm not even saying that to be like, oh, he was, he wasn't attractive. I wasn't looking at him in that way. I just remember I remember it was a black guy, black male, but he didn't have any features that like stood out for me to be like, oh yeah, I remember him because he looked like this, So I didn't get out of my car right away after I noticed him staring at me. I took a phone call and I did some other things before I got out of the car. So I didn't get out of my car for about 15 minutes. So then I go inside of Walmart. So the police officer tells me, based on the footage, he waited until I got inside the store. And then he saw another Kia driving around. He also came in the same time I did, but he didn't follow me. He didn't park near me. He just kind of just was zooming through the parking lot, and then he came back around once I was out of camera view. So this was when I went inside the store. And the one that was in the black Kia, that's the culprit. That's the guy that broke my window out, got into my car, tried to get it started up, couldn't get it started. Then the guy in the silver Kia, the other guy that was staring at me, he tries to break into, he tries to get my car started. He can't get it started either. The police is observing all this on camera. So then when they both realize they can't get it started, they just leave. They get in their cars and they just leave. So they see me on camera coming back out to my car. This is around the time when I said I was leaving the store, and noticed, I'm seeing everything. And so I'm just like, I can't, like, really, somebody really followed me into this parking lot. And he's like, that's what it looked like. They didn't make a move or do anything until you were outside your car and you were seen walking into the store. I'm like, wow, okay. So I had to deal with this process yet again, which was just very, very, very annoying in itself, because when you have your own property, you have something that you work hard for, you want to be able to, you should be able to trust the fact that no one's gonna bother you, and it's like an invasion of privacy, I feel like, because I just feel violated. It's 3 times now, and then this time they were so careless and reckless, they couldn't even successfully do what they set out to do. The other 2 times they did what they set out to do, but this time it's even more frustrating, because it's like, now at this point, I was not expecting that to happen. You know, I was once again at a point where I was working on getting rid of the car, trading it in, doing something with it. The lease for my car was coming to an end, so I'm like, I'm for sure definitely getting rid of this car. Like, I don't want to keep it. You know, I don't even want to get the same model car after this, because it's just frustrating to have to keep dealing with this. So yet again, I had to go through the whole process of filing a claim, being without a car, and I'm still without my car. You know, but I already, you know, have it in my mindset to where I'm letting the car go. I don't want it back. I'm not proceeding, you know, with that car. Like, I need something that's more reliable, and that's something that I feel like it's not an easy target. And yes, if you guys have not figured out yet, my car that kept getting stolen and broken into was a Kia Forte Sports Edition. Okay, so it wasn't the regular Kia Fortes that you see out here. It was the one with the black and silver chrome on the tires, and it had like a really sleek design. The windows were made a little different from the other Kia Fortes that you would see. It was the Sports Edition, so it was a faster model of the regular Kia Forte. So I'm going to assume, you know, that's the reason why my car was an easy target. 1, because it was a Kia Forte. 2, because it was a different type of Kia Forte. And yeah, just there's this thing that's going around now. It's like a lot of car thefts going around the states right now, and the crew called themselves the Kia Boys. And I'm saying that to say that, you know, if you haven't already heard about the little epidemic of the car thefts, it's definitely an issue. It's definitely a fact. I do feel like there's not enough being done, not with the police department, but just with the manufacturer. You know, I did hear about there being like some type of lawsuit towards the manufacturer because there's you know, defaults with how the cars were made, and the fact that they're so easy to steal. That shouldn't be. You know, a lot of people are arguing, like, they're feeling like there was a debate about it, whether the manufacturer was at fault or are the people stealing the cars at fault. And personally, I feel like both are at fault, because the manufacturer, once they started hearing about how easy it was to steal the cars, that should have automatically been a recall. All the victims should have definitely got some type of compensation, or the system in their car should have been upgraded automatically, free of charge, because that's not our fault our cars are getting stolen. You know, we were led to believe that these were reliable cars that will fit into our lifestyle, and obviously that's not the case. So I'm saying that to say that definitely the car thieves are at fault as well, and everybody that's been a part of it definitely needs to be in jail. They need to be caught, and they need to get what's coming to them, period. Because it's so ridiculous at what they're doing. They're joyriding in these cars. They're not even real car thieves. They're just breaking into these cars, joyriding them around the city, getting caught, and then it's just a cycle. They keep doing it. They're in cars that are currently stolen, driving around in stolen cars to go and steal other cars. Come on now. That don't sound like a smart thief to me. And I'm not saying that they should be Einsteins, but it just sounds dumb. And it's like, if they put more effort into something else, that was way more productive, they would be awesome. But instead, they want to put all their time and effort into doing something that's the dumbest thing ever. And that's putting you in a position so where you can go to jail. And you're not moving ahead like that. You're staying stagnant. And you're becoming a statistic. And you think that people will want better for themselves. But obviously not. They think it's cute. They think it's fun. They think it's, you know, they think it's like it's really something to do. Like they've mastered it. But they haven't. And it's just sad that people like myself are going through this. And it shouldn't be. You know, I work hard for everything that I have. I take pride in what I have. And so for someone to feel like they have a right to go and take it, vandalize it, steal it, interfere with my pocket, the money that I'm trying to make from me and my family, that it's messed up. It's messed up beyond measures. And I would never try to understand their point of view. Never. Because I would never do that to somebody else. Because it's just a waste of time. I could be doing other things, more productive things with myself, other than messing up somebody else's life. When it all comes down to it, you're messing up somebody else's life. And they have nothing to do with you. You know. So I'm sorry. I'm just I'm upset, but I'm not as upset as I was when this first happened. The very first time that this happened to me, man, I was so upset. I was crying. I was very emotional because I just didn't understand, like, why would this be happening to me? And then, you know, me talking to a couple people that also have kids in the area that I lived in. They're like, yeah, my kid was stolen too, or my Hyundai was broken into, and it's stolen. And it's like, so this is really an epidemic. It's not just me, because I felt like I was being targeted. But now, given the fact that it's been 3 times now, I most definitely feel like I was targeted on account of a possible enemy. I'm going to put that out there. And also because of the car that I own. The car that I had. I mean, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I don't put it past those 2 factors. Now, I'm not pointing fingers right now because I don't specifically know who was involved each time or any time, any of those 3 times, but I have an idea, and the truth will come out. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm more so concerned about my transportation, my peace of mind. You know, my boyfriend having to, he's right now, he is doing a lot for me, and I appreciate him beyond words can express, because he's put himself into a position so where he's not only helping me on a day-to-day basis get to and from work, helping my oldest daughter get to school, to and from school every day. He's also doing it for his oldest daughter. She has a sister. And also, you know, for our child. He's doing it for all the kids. He's inserted himself into a position to where he's the primary person with the vehicle. And I know it's not easy for him, and I commend him so much for doing it, because I know it's not easy. It can be easy, because it's like you're not only having to worry about yourself, getting to and from work. You having to take kids to and from school. You having to get your girlfriend to and from work. And if she needs to get somewhere else outside of work, getting her there. Meanwhile, his car isn't 100%. But it's you know, it's getting us to and from. Getting us from, you know, A to B. But it's a lot, and I hate to be the person that's having to rely on someone so much. You know, so I commend him because he's just a great person for doing that. I really do appreciate him because he doesn't have to do what he's doing. I could have to, you know, catch cabs and take a Lyft, take a Uber anywhere I need to go, but I don't have to do that because he's helping me. He's unselfishly helping me, and I'm really appreciative of what he's doing. You know, at a time where like I need him, he's there, and it means so much. It really does. But yeah, those are the 3 different times my car was stolen. Same car, 3 different scenarios. So right now I am finishing up my makeup look, and I'm gonna let you guys just watch me finish it up. I know I'm kind of like rumbling through some stuff, but it's gonna come together at the end. It's gonna be real cute. Just trust me. Alright, you guys, this is the final look. Thank you for tuning in to I Am Bree TV and listening to my story time. I pray you enjoyed the content. The moral of my story is never take away from someone else, because you never know what person's life you're interfering with when you make selfish decisions. When you selfishly take away from someone else, it causes a ripple effect. So just try to think more about your actions and choose more positive ways to do things. And if you can't do it for yourself, try to do it for someone else. Be selfless. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Practice the golden rule. It really does make a difference. I thank you all again. Much love. Peace.